Welcome, everybody. This is James Hudson, owner of the Hounds Podcast. It's going to be a little different this week, guys. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, how we were going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to bring in Mr. Jackson Williams and his podcast, the Houndsmen For Christ. And today is our first installment of the Houndsmen For Christ podcast. So very excited to bring this to y'all. I can't thank him enough for jumping on board. I gave it a quick little listen right here before we started getting on things. So y'all bear with him a little bit. He did a great job, guys. He really did. If anybody listened to some of my early episodes, it takes a little bit of getting used to, guys. So y'all give Jackson a big hand here. That he did a great job for his first recording and sitting down and making this thing happen. I'm very happy to have him on the team. They killed it, man, and I think y'all are going to really enjoy this one. So I do hope y'all enjoy that. Real quick before we get into this, just want to do a quick little talk real quick. I'm not going to interrupt his episode by any means. I did want to touch on the bracket that we are doing, guys. So I'm getting a lot of comments, guys. Lots and lots of comments, and I want everybody to understand that, and I've tried to make as many comments and many posts about it as I can. This whole bracket that's on the Hounds Podcast Facebook page, it is meant to be for fun. Okay, this is by no means me ranking the best dogs of all time. It is by no means me saying that this dog is better than this dog. I didn't get to see barely any of these dogs run, so I don't have any skin in the game to even be able to give you this opinion. This kind of thing will go down for the rest of our lives of debate on what dog was the best dog of all time. Guys, this thing is supposed to be fun. It's just something that we did messing around because of March Madness happening, and I've seen a lot of brackets floating around Facebook of different things and different actions and in different places doing things, guys. So all I did was had the idea. I said, hey, we're going to let people comment, and whatever dogs get the most votes, that's the top 32 dogs. We'll rank them according to the amount of likes that they get. And that's just how I did it, guys. It's not me saying, all right, well, here's the top 32 dogs. I think this is the top dog versus this dog, blah, blah, blah. So y'all, please don't shoot the messenger. This was all made for fun, guys. I promise. This was all something to just get people interacting, talking about dogs, talking about the great dogs of all time. And I hope that I hope y'all have enjoyed it so far. So far, we've had Pinetail Clown B knocking out Claiborne's Rock, Atkins Penny taking out WT's Buck Wild, Buckshot's Hard Rock defeating MK's Taylor, East Coast Dylan defeating Tiny Helms. Then we had Crisco's Newburn beating CMK's Calvary, White Cat Helms defeating ISK's Lemonade, Bonds Wheeler defeating P&J Dallas, and Wisnit's Jimmy B defeating McGee's Sticker. And I know some of y'all listening are probably like disagreeing completely with some of these outcomes, and I even have to question a few. But this is all voted on by you, the listeners, you, the fans, you, the guys that are tuning in, checking out the Facebook page. It's all for fun, guys. Please. Let's not get our, for lack of terms, let's not get our panties in a wad over this. Let's just have some fun with it, man. If it keeps going good, we keep having fun with it, man, we'll do some more down the road. But I just think that this is something that's kind of cool, and we'll keep doing some stuff like this. But all right, I'm not going to hold y'all up any further. This one's going to be, like I said, it's centered around houndsmen that have their walk through Christ as well, and improving our relationships with the good Lord above. So, I'm not gonna on these episodes. I'm not gonna hold y'all up on doing motivational quotes and the Bible verses of the week. I think that can get taken care of in the talks that these conversations we'll be having. So, I hope y'all enjoy it. Love some feedback, and if there's something we need to improve on with it, please let us know. We're ready to hear it, guys. All right. I'm not going to hold y'all up anymore. Let's get to the episode, first one of the Houndsmen For Christ, presented by the Hounds Podcast. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Podcast. The Hounds Podcast is proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply yet again for the 2026 year. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. These guys are not just a business, they are houndsmen and women too. They test their products out there in the field and put them to the test every day during hunting season and field trial season, guys. Get the latest in garment equipment, stay locked and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply again for their support, not only for the podcast, but for field trials across the country, our help in fighting to keep our rights as houndsmen and women across the states. And when you're looking for your next purchase and equipment, keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now, let's get this episode going, guys.
Hey, y'all, it's Jackson Williams with the Houndsmen For Christ. This is the co-host with the Hounds Podcast. Today we got Hunter Nance and Craig Nance. How y'all doing?
Good.
For those of you that don't know, they're right there in Lumberton, North Carolina. They got a little fox pen at Long Road. Is that right? Long Road Fox Pen. Y'all introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you come from, how you got into dogs, and all that good stuff.
All right, I'm Craig Nance, the owner of Long Road Fox Pen. And the way I got into dogs, that's where it is. I used to ride my bicycle with a fox hunter that used poach fish just right there sitting looking at the dog. I was just amazed by fox dogs. Whenever I got old enough to get dogs, I've got them. I've had them ever since. And it's just like we got too many now because I've got so many.
I understand completely. I think me and Maddie counted yesterday, there's 52 here, and she has informed me that she bought another one this morning, and I was not. But Hunter, how about you?
My name's Hunter Nance, 28 years old. But as far as how I got into it, I've been for as long as I've been alive. There's pictures of me hunting with Daddy when I was a year old, standing up in his lap, listening as I was out the window. So it's just been something that's been a part of my life as long as I can remember. I can. Up until just probably since my little boy was born, I could probably count on one hand how many weeks I went my whole life without running a dog of some sort. My little boy was born, and Lewis called me in the pasture and all here pretty recently. It slowed me down a little bit, and so I don't hunt near as much as I used to. But there for a long time, it was just something I've done 3 and 4, sometimes 5 times a week. Just brought up in it my whole life.
I understand that, brother. That's a pretty common thing, I guess, with most of us. So, as most of y'all may not know, we talked about it last week, or actually be the week before with James, on the first episode. I'm going to do things kind of a little different. We're going to talk a lot about dogs, a little bit about Jesus, or a lot about Jesus, and, just kind of go from there. So, if y'all don't know, Hunter's a preacher. Trying to be a preacher. He's going around speaking and sharing the gospel. And I've watched some of your sermons, man. You're doing a really good job. I've had the opportunity to speak in front of a crowd this morning, and I thought I was going to pass it. I definitely look up to you for that. That's a big thing, to follow your calling and share the word. And not only that, to live it.
Yes, sir.
I've been around y'all a bunch. Many people uh, claim Jesus. Sometimes wake up a different way, and I fall more on the line of that a lot. But uh, Hunter's a lot better at it than me, so I kind of I kind of let him talk on it a little bit. Hunter, what is some of the ways that you could kind of relate? Has the Lord taught you in some kind of ways with with dogs, or is there a way that you found to share the gospel with people through dogs, or uh, anything like that?
Well, most definitely sharing the gospel through hunting. Just there's some Christian men and women that's in the hound dog world, but overall, it ain't just hunting. I mean, the society itself, there's a lot more people. I feel like that is lost when we go outside of church or meeting people in your everyday life. You come in contact with a lot of people that just don't know the Lord, or either they know the Lord and they go to church, but they have never really had a true salvation experience. And so when I'm out hunting with people and deer hunting, fox hunting, I always try to carry myself in a way that they would see something different about me. That's my goal. And I fall short of that. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But I want people when we're hunting to say there's something different about Hunter that is, just separates him from a lot of other people. And any time that I get the opportunity to, if I hear somebody talking, I try to, witness to them about the Lord if I can. A lot of times before we start our hunt in the morning, I'll ask to lead in a word of prayer. Sometimes I'm asked to. And so it's a really good way to share the gospel with people through just hunting. A lot of times you sitting around at lunch or after it's dark and then got all your dogs brought up, just fellowship, and that's a good way to kind of plant a seed or invite somebody to church, or somebody's going through something, kind of try and talk to them and encourage them and help them. So it gives you a lot of ways to be able to spread the gospel, through running dogs and hunting, and you get to meet a lot of people as well.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, I had the opportunity to speak this morning to some people, and if some of y'all may not know, but a lot of follow me on Facebook, there is not a week that goes by, really a day that goes by, that something don't happen in my life through the dogs, or somebody with dogs that I've met that is in contact with me, or you know almost every day, that he kind of either reminds me that I'm doing wrong, uh, gives me words of encouragement, or something of that nature. And a lot of times it's just, I found it kind of ironic. Whatever I'm studying at the time is kind of what he's revealing to me. Through the dogs. Not too long ago, I had two of these little gyps get out here and had a jailbreak, which is very uncommon. For me, it don't happen a whole lot. Uh, and man, I was worried sick. I was fortunate enough to, when I woke up that morning, one of them was back in the yard, and I got her, and man, the other one, she stayed gone 2 or 3 days. Uh, and I was worried, slept sick, and she is by far not my best dog whatsoever. But she was mine. And that thing tore me up. I really liked her. Uh, and throughout this, what I could just think, uh, you know, leaving the 99 to go chase the one. And I've heard that my whole life, and I never really understood it. And I think a lot of people with kids could probably relate to that, more so than dogs. But I mean, I think that's a very good correlation of, she wasn't my best dog. She wasn't, she ain't had the best bark. She wasn't the prettiest. She ain't the best bred. Just an average dog. Uh, and I loved her just as much as I loved the rest of them. And I couldn't sleep. But what I'm getting at it is, through that, I kind of realized what leaving the 99 to search for the one is. And that was, one of the lessons that he's taught me. Through dog, one of the several. Uh, but to kind of move on, Craig, I know you're probably pretty proud of Hunter. Seeing him grow up and what he's turning into. Uh, I'm sure you can kind of relate to the 99 and the one. Watching him How has his faith affected you any?
Well, since he started preaching, it's brought me back to where I needed to be. I ain't missed a service of his yet.
I understand that completely. He's pretty good. Now I gotta say, if y'all ain't had the opportunity to go listen to him, he's really good. He gets fired up too, and he gets fired up deer hunting. He gets just as excited.
Matter of fact, Jackson, I'm gonna let him baptize me next week.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. That is
get to bury me in the water.
that is awesome. There, you don't really get to see that a whole lot. That's pretty special.
To me, it'd be an honor to have my son baptized.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's pretty good.
All right, guys, we're going to interrupt the episode again real quick. The Hounds Tales podcast would like to take a second and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. Whether you're pleasure running at night or judging nighttime field trials, put your trust in Cajun Lights, guys. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for your nighttime feeds, and trust me, that sucker comes in handy. And to the top level Cajun blinder for the hardcore crossing getters. The Cajun Lights are headlights style lamps that free up your hands for voice recorders and your GPS. They offer flood style lights in red, amber, and a white walking light. Then the top of the line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun Light a try. With the red and amber setting to catch the game with an easy flick of a switch, go right back to your main beam light, guys, and see your hounds in action. Visit their store today at CajunLights.com or check out. Make sure that you fill out the survey and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase from Cajun Lights. Guys, trust me, tough lights. Cannot say enough good about these guys. And Made in America products. Be sure to check them out. CajunLights.com. All right, I won't hold y'all up no more. Let's get back to the episode, guys. Here we go.
Now, earlier we mentioned y'all had the fox pen long road. How was having the fox pen versus the hunting? Is it you get just as much enjoyment out of it? How does that kind of work?
You talking about hunting versus the pen versus hunting on the outside? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Me, I can speak on myself. I've always been brought up doing both, but ain't nothing like a good outside race. Ain't nothing like going and running on the outside. And so, to be honest, that's probably where most of our hunting is done, especially now. We went through several years and we still try hard in the pen, but I'd say 75% of our hunting now is done on the outside. And Daddy gets to hunt a lot more than I do now with my schedule, but usually 2 or 3 times a week he's running on the outside. I mean, he works at the pen every day, but as far as enjoying it, I love going to the pen and I love messing with the pen and watching dogs, especially puppies, start them and watching them grow and get better. All that is great, but ain't nothing like a good outside race for me.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I know y'all do the deer trials a little bit more than running into the pens. How does that compare to the deer hunting?
What, deer trial versus deer hunting?
Yeah.
It ain't nothing the same. I mean, it's deer trial. It's fun, but I'll be honest. Me speaking for myself, I don't really care a whole lot for it in 4 hours. What's going on at the deer trial? It can get hectic. It's crazy. A lot of traffic. It can be hectic. But my favorite part of going to the deer trial is when it's all said and done, sitting around the clubhouse waiting on to figure up scores and getting the fellowship and talk with people that you normally don't get to hunt with on a weekly basis from other hunting clubs and old friends. That's my biggest reason for going. Winning a trophy, that's a bonus. People go just to win. My opinion, you're there for the wrong reason. When we place or when we win, that's just extra, but that ain't why I go. My biggest thing is the fellowship with friends and people that you don't normally get to see.
You definitely get to see. I went and attended one, and I think it's actually the one y'all put on when y'all were in state lineup. It's actually, man, I'll be honest with you, the way y'all conduct the prizes and the raffles and stuff and all after it that aspect, y'all, man, I think y'all do a really good job with that. Especially with the payback. That's, and there's in my opinion, I think there's a little room for, these big hunts. I think there's a lot of room for the little hunts. But I had actually mentioned a couple times to a couple buddies of mine that I was getting to Mr. Craig Nance on here, and everybody wants to know about the famous Nitro, just how fast he is. He's definitely well known, and I think not too long ago you may have won Town Creek with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the second year in a row he won.
Town Creek. What is he bred like?
He's off of H2K's General and H2K's Kiki's.
Yeah, okay. That's from out west, ain't it?
Yeah, Corey Hocker, they bred him.
Have you been fortunate enough to find anything close to him? There's a lot of people that I have heard that just can't really get in front of him. How does that? Let me ask you this, kind of. I know he's really good at the deer trialing, but how does it relate to deer hunting? Is he a pretty good deer dog too?
He has his moments where he jumps his own deer. He can actually run a deer when he wants to, but he's aggravating to take deer hunting because he messes up a race so bad.
Just gets
so far ahead of dogs. He'll get so far ahead of dogs, and it's not fair to the other 45 or 50 behind him. But
I can say, speaking on him, we've had him for several years now, and when we first started running him, he doesn't settle for second. He don't want to be at the back of the pack, and so from him being a young dog, a puppy, and on the outside, if he didn't have the front, he was trying to get the front, and so for a long time, when he would try and cut to get the front, he didn't really know how to work a pack of dogs or how to cut, and so he would cut himself out of it, just kind of aggravating. But we seen potential in him, and so we kept running him, and we kept him out of the fox pen, just kept him on the outside on deer, and over time we kept getting better and better and better, and now he's at, I feel like, his prime. I mean, now he ain't nowhere where he was when we started, and he's really a nice dog. As far as deer field trial, he can get, if he ain't got it, he's going there to get it, and he knows how to get there too.
He knows how to work. He knows how to work a big pack of dogs, and once he gets the front, he knows what to do with it. He's a once in a lifetime dog, but he's aggravating to hunt with if you're going to hunt.
And I can think of me growing up, speaking of in my lifetime, God's blessed us with some amazing hounds to hunt over the years. I can think 10 or 15 that I'd give anything to have back. And some of them that I'm thinking about, maybe they were just good jump dogs. Some of them were good jump dogs. They could pretty steppy on their feet. Some was just had a unique bark, something unique about them. And if you know it. I mean, you have certain dogs that just put on your heart a little differently, and he's one of those. He's probably one for what he does and for what he is. I don't know that we'll ever have another one like him. He ain't the best dog we've ever owned as far as taking a track from the road and jumping a deer and stuff like that. But he will get there and find his own. But like Daddy said, he's a once in a lifetime dog. He's one of them ones that you'll remember. That I'll probably cherish the rest of my life.
He's one to talk about his granddaddy.
He's definitely got a good record on him. I've heard a lot about him. I've had the opportunity to watch him run a couple times, and the legendary stories is not wrong. He will absolutely outrun the crap out of you. He's pretty fast rascal. I don't know that I'd really want to have to kill deer with him. Not with buckshot anyway. I don't know. They don't be tiptoed in front of him. But Hunter, you're talking about dogs, better in aspects. I was having a conversation the other day with a guy, and really, I think where a lot of people kind of get so misled on dogs is really your goal. A real outside hunter is going to have a different goal than a man that runs in a pen, and I'm sure it's probably a little different for the deer trials versus the field trials. In our opinion with, the broke dogs, man, I've hunted with a lot of nice dogs, and I don't know that there's one of them that I really couldn't sit there and pick apart. It's almost like it takes two or three to make one. Uh, I mean, really, it is. I mean, it's hard to have a dog that can run up front, have a good mouth, beautiful, trail, jump, hunt, got all the bottom in the world. It's hard to have a dog put together like that. Uh, and I have seen very few that was, a lot closer to it than others. But man, stuff like that's kind of hard to come by. But you know, when I watched Nitro, he was definitely one of the ones that was closer to having all of it together than most. Oh, how about the? I know we going back to the fox pen. How has that went so far? Far as the puppy hunts and stuff. Are y'all pretty geared up and having gang doing good and having plenty of hunts.
Yeah, we got plenty of game and it's conditioned good and ready to roll.
I heard that. I know you had mentioned. I seen something about a benefit hunt y'all were having. When is it?
April the 18th.
April 18th. What's it for?
There's a fella named Randy Hale, and if you don't know him, Randy, he's a younger guy. I would say maybe in his late 20s, 30s or so, but just a great guy. He's that type of person that just a likable person. He can get along with everybody. Type of guy that'll give you the shirt off his back. I've known him for several years now, and I never heard anybody say anything bad about him. And a few months ago, he was actually on the way to our fox pen, and coming down the road, ended up getting involved in an accident, left him on the broke back. Unless God works a miracle in his life, he's got some life-changing injuries. Really, just being honest, they don't know what's the odds of him walking again. And so he's got a young family, young kids, and just not really knowing what his future is going to hold. And so there's a fella that come to us, and he's talking about a benefit hunt. We've been praying about it, tossed around some ideas, just wanting to do a little something to kind of be a blessing to him and his family, just to give a little something back. Our pen is kind of small, so we're going to be limited on what we can do. But it'll be for June and after puppies. And we're going to take $40, $45 about all our pen can handle. But we would ask if everybody could support if you feel led to. Lord, let it on your heart. Maybe send a donation if you're not able to attend. If you're not able to, we also doing a gun raffle, and so get with me the tickets on that, information on Facebook and stuff. But we just want to do the best we can. With what we got to work with, kind of be a blessing to him because he's been a blessing to a lot of people in his life.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick pause real quick in the episode. I want to talk about our partners over at Elite Nutrition. Guys, our hounds, they are athletes. They give us their all each and every time we cast them, whether it be at field trials, in the deer woods, no matter what the situation is. They give us their all. Elite Nutrition offers all natural products to give your dogs the natural benefits that they truly deserve. From the Canine Remove, an all-natural wormer, to the Electro Boost. It's a paste that's an electrolyte replenishment. And for body fluid balance and blood flow improvement. They also have products like Active Dog Powder for recovery and joint and muscle support, Essential Dog Powder for daily vitamins and minerals, probiotics and prebiotics and enzymes, the Canine Lactate Powder for nursing dogs to help with milk supply, and there's so many more products, guys. Check them out at CajunLights.com. Click on the Elite Nutrition section to explore all the different options that they have. When you go to check out at CajunLight.com only, use the code HTElite10. That's HT Hounds Tails Elite 10, the number 10 at the end, to receive 10% off your Elite Nutrition products. Again, that's HT Elite 10 to get 10% off your Elite Nutrition products via CajunLights.com. Been using their products now for a couple years now, guys. Love every single one of them, and we'll also be taking some step forwards and promoting their each product during episodes with spotlight sections every other episode, maybe every other episode, something like that. So we're definitely looking forward to that, and thank the Elite Nutrition for coming back on, guys. All right, let's get back to the episode.
I heard that. That's a lot of one thing. for the last couple of weeks, I know you've seen what's been going on in Virginia, and they were kind of, me and James talked about it. All the money that gets spent, with dogs, and that's one thing that, we didn't even harp on or even talk about was the amount of benefit hunts that go on, throughout the dog community. Uh, I would hate to know the amount of money that people like me and you spend every year on dogs, but me and him was talking about. I really don't want to keep up with it, but I actually seen where the Bonner hunt, if I'm not mistaken, raised like almost $100,000. Uh, in one hunt. And, that's something that's not mentioned a whole lot. Uh, throughout, I guess these people arguing, over the dog hunting. I'm sure you've seen that everywhere, but uh,
And
you know,
speaking on that hunt specifically, Jackson, what I've kept up with it because I've actually I thought about trying to go out there just at least one time and just see what it's about. But that hunt talked about a lot. But what I've seen when they put on their hunt this year, they said more than likely they're going to reach a goal of over $1 million that they've raised every year to put the hunts on that they've been able to get back to the hospital. So hopefully this year they'll hit $1 million from what they've raised over the last, I guess, 7 or 8 years, however long they've been doing it.
that is crazy. Well, if you've kept up with it, that just kind of popped in my head. What do you know? What they, what it's for? What is it?
All the money is raised, from my understanding, just from what I've read and I've talked to some guys about. All that money is donated back to a children's hospital. Every dollar that's made, after expenses was paid, it goes back to a children's hospital for chemo treatments and motel rooms for parents, when they come. Just all that goes along with that, young ones being sick, the dental cancer, things such as that, just ways they can be blessings to families in need.
That's $1 million, and that is crazy. Do you know how many years they've been doing it?
I don't, not right off. I don't. I know they've done it for several years now.
Yeah, that's pretty dang good. Actually, I for the ones that don't know, I'm holding a 3-day in Swainsboro, Georgia. It's called the Cross and Crown Classic. And when I posted, kind of a little bit of confusion to people because I posted hunters and judges will get one free ticket, and it was a typo. But what's gonna happen is if when you get a hound and you get a number, you'll get basically one name in a bucket, and then out of the 300 dogs that's there, what we'll do is kind of just draw out of the hat, and either you'll get a prize of, I ain't quite figured out how I was gonna do it yet, and with y'all running a hunt, you might can have me a little bit better of an idea. Either a prize of something around $4,500, or originally the idea was a custom made dog box, but then I kind of got thinking about it. Maybe people, I know people like money more than they, like some stuff like that. But and I was gonna do the same thing for the judges, so all the judges' names get drawn in the hat, and that it'll be 2 separate pots, for the hunters and the judges. But whatever's left over, what we're actually doing is we're gonna split it 50-50 down the middle. We're gonna donate what's left to the South Carolina Sporting Dog Association, and then the rest of it go to the Low Country Child of Dreams. And that is not a very big foundation that's known by a lot of people, but what they're doing now, actually, Maddie's come from Maddie and Chad. They're real big into it, and what they do is they'll raise money and they'll take these kids hunting. And some of them don't really get the opportunity to live, much longer. And it is a very, very eye-opening thing. Just truly to how spoiled we are. It's just kind of seeing video, and I've never got to experience it for myself, but I've got to see plenty of videos of them do it. Man, it is amazing at just how much life it brings to those kids just getting experience, hunting in general. Uh, it's a very, very eye-opening thing, especially when you're looking at a kid that is facing what he's facing. It's real tough. Um, but that was just kind of far as the Crossing Crown Classic. And I will ask you this. I know we didn't really discuss it. Far as a hunter standpoint, if you had a hound, a 3-day hound, and you was going to a hunt, what is one thing you would look for to win other than money? What's something that might be a good idea that most people don't really do?
Well, a lot of people like guns, but thing with guns, and it's kind of tough getting them and get, how we do it. Anytime we use out guns at our community, we have a gun store that's pretty local, and I just think you got to pick it up that way. They can put the gun in their name, they're picking it up, whatever. But I would say guns is a good idea if you can do something like that. And then, all of us can use garment equipment. A lot of people get back garment equipment, but that's a good idea. I'll never turn down a garment call.
I always like to win something I can use. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whether it's dog food, money, hunting equipment, anything I can use, that's what I want to use.
Well, when this thing started, when the idea started about it, that was my number one goal. I wanted good judges, and I wanted them compensated, and I wanted the best hounds in the country, and I wanted them to get rewarded for what they were doing. And y'all kind of see it too with owning the pen. I think these small pens are popping up everywhere are really, really good for the sport. So just as the benefit hunt y'all are having, man, that is something that is amazing for the sport. How do you see it? And you could probably see it firsthand. How do you see it? Translating from a small pen puppy hunting to an older dog. Do you see that some of these puppies that are not doing good and these puppy hunts go on to be better dogs in the long run, or same ones that's winning now, do they go on to keep winning?
Some does. Some's burnt out by the time they get that age.
Or some is their style of running, the type of dogs that they are, that they've bred and trained for, is to do good in a little 30 or 40 acre pen, and they do good in puppy hunt. Don't see much out of them afterwards. And it's just a different world. You get in a 3, 4, 500 acre pen, sometimes bigger than that, with a lot bigger number of dogs. And we really probably got to know how to run a piece of game a little bit more versus being a racetrack. I guess you could say a smaller pen. And so I see some dogs that goes on and they can carry it from the puppy hunt, crowd them up, it's all around a nice dog. Then you see some that never done anything in the puppy hunt and they really turn on once they get over a year old, year and a half, 2 years old. And so, it varies, probably really the type of dog that we are, my opinion.
And a lot of that's got to do with the handling too, though.
That's right.
You got people that breeds for puppy hunting. That's what they want to do.
That's a fact.
And they gonna cut you at a puppy hunt. You got people that breeds for, a puppy hunt style dog. They may get 1 or 2, and then they want to go on big thing, like some of your other three-day guys.
And at the end of the day, a dog's no better than the handler either.
Absolutely.
The handler's got 90%.
Absolutely.
I've seen, not talking about nobody in general, but I've seen good dogs hand certain people and not be so good at dogs anymore. And it's all in your conditioning program, feeding them. My rule of thumb, what I've always said, you got to have him in shape. You got to have him the worms out of him. You got to have him feeling good. You got to have him at his best. You got to be able to spend time with your dogs and study your dogs to know when your dogs don't feel quite right. You look at us as humans. There's some days we wake up and our stomach hurts. When our back's a little sore or this and that. And we can say, I ain't feeling up there. I need this or I need that. But as a dog, they can't speak to you. So you got to spend the time with your dogs to know when they ain't something quite right with them. Hey, they ain't acting like they normally act. So it goes with spending time with your dogs and making sure you're fit. We got a good feed program, a good conditioning program, and just having that relationship with them. I think if you're going to be successful, you got to have a relationship with them. That's my opinion on it. I mean, you got to spend time with it.
That's a fact. And that's one thing that that you could actually probably go down a whole rabbit hole with that, man. There's a lot of people that are just chasing these trophies and just wanting to get their name called, and uh, it's you can tell the difference in a man that takes care of his dogs and one that's just chasing trophies. That you can. Yeah, in my opinion, I hadn't been around the field trialing long, but you can definitely notice the difference in the guys that's completely winning, all the time. It's been very eye opening to me. I wasn't raised around field trial and all. All we know is outside dogs, and I've been to a couple puppy hunts, but when Maddie come around, and it was eye opening. I know you're talking about dogs being in shape. Whew, that's something I didn't realize just how much, how important it was to compete, is being in shape. And I think you can see a noticeable difference in guys that's working their butt off and ones that ain't. But we were also talking earlier, you said the different handlers. I've seen it kind of swap. Somebody kind of get an average dog and turn it good too. And that kind of got me to thinking, with the technology we got today, what's your opinion on the technology? Hey, everybody's got one is it ruined dogs to your opinion, or has it made them better?
It's got its pros and its cons. I think as far as the training, as far as controlling them and all, has made things a lot easier. I can remember growing up as a little boy. I mean, it wasn't normal for us to be pulling out of the woods an hour after dark. I can remember growing up, you had to look for dogs all night. We always went to church, and we come home and sleep a couple hours. We'd go to church, get out, and we ride around with a big about the wind in our church before it's still trying to find dogs. On up sometimes into the next week. I mean, that's how, I've known us several nights like that. All nighters looking for dogs. And now I can't tell you the last time we've left a dog out. So that's a pro to it. But it's got some cons as well. Me speaking, we've always hunted with a big group of dogs, and I remember growing up. You always go hunt with 200 or 300 dogs. Yes, that's a lot of dogs, but we made the best of it. Now you get that many together, then you can't track, and you don't know where your dog is. So it's got pros and cons to it, and some people don't want to hunt with that many dogs. They like a smaller group, but I feel like overall it's really helped the sport because without the Garmin, I don't know that we'd still be hunting. My opinion. Not being able to control your dogs and stuff. Just the way things has gotten over the last 5 to 10 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, helps you really be able to control your dogs and stop them.
I agree. It's hard to kind of say if, in my opinion, it's hard to say if it's good or bad. I think them Garmin's is kind of the same way as a handler. It's only as good as the man using it.
Oh, I've seen it ruin some good dogs.
Yeah, I've seen it ruin a many good ones.
You don't know when to push that button or not to push that button, or how to let them know. Cause you can push that tone all day long, but if you ain't letting them know what you're toning for, you go in his mind. You push that center button, but you got to know what you're doing and how to send signals to your dog. And hey, this is what I want you to do, and to know when to do it and when not to do it. Because I've seen people mess up good dogs with a ball. I always say that.
Well, as far as talking about the toning, how do y'all tone break dogs? And I know y'all start puppies for a lot of people, don't you?
Yeah. And I can speak probably behalf of Betty too. And I've seen what he does. He's the one who taught me pretty much everything I know. But what we'll do, I think it's best starting a puppy getting in a smaller pen, kind of like ours. And so, they don't understand what you're toning them for. If they've never had a collar on, but you're trying to catch them and you're tone them and they won't stop. We start learning, trying to work your way up. Well, I say we do. Sometimes Eddie has a rule of thumb that they ain't one number on your Garmin, and that's 18. He says that sometimes, but in a joking sense, but especially with our own dogs. But especially with a puppy, you start them out kind of slow. You work your way up, but once you ever do get your hand, a lot of times they'll lay down. They'll lay down. They just don't know what's going on. But once you finally get your hands on them and pet them up, let them know, hey, this is what I wanted you to. I wanted you to come to me. And pet them up, let them know. Some people will shot and tone a dog for 30, 45 minutes, an hour. When they finally get it, they're ill, and they just put it in the box, and the dog still don't really know what's going on, in my opinion. I think once you get your hands on him and you pet him up, let him know, hey, good boy, good girl, whatever. Then the next time you hear it, say, hey, I kept getting shot until I got to him and I found him. And so I'm going to go find him. And it don't take you 2 or 3 times of doing that. They got to figure it out.
You're looking for dog hunting apparel to rock to your next event? Visit dogtight.com and check out the lines of shirts, hoodies, and hats, just like this one up here on my head that I'm wearing right now, with looks that fit our style, comfort that is unmatched, and supporting another houndsman as well. Get your Dog Tight swag today and use the discount code HoundsTales15. That's HOUNDSTALES and the number 15 at the end to get 15% off your order. Now, let's finish up this episode, guys. I promise, right here at the end of it. Thanks, y'all, for holding on tight with me.
That's I've always said dogs are a lot smarter than most people, and I really think they are to a lot of degree. Especially from my daddy, my cousin went through this retriever stage. We was gonna be real duck hunters real hard. And that's kind of hard to do in South Carolina, but they was real big into training in retrievers, and I've noticed since then dogs is a lot smarter than what we gave them credit for. I can actually remember, the first time I seen a broke fox dog, we went with a guy, and he was probably 150 yards down the truck. 150 yards down the road, and the fella hollered on the radio, said, "Hey, send me Queen." He opened the truck, and Queen went down the road and jumped right in his truck. Man, my mind was just absolutely blown. Just, because we were still chasing dog. Well, when we deer hunted, they was me, Daddy, and my cousin all rode in the same truck. And everybody got out to catch them son of a guns. And you better football tackle them, dive on them. And I remember they even got smart to that. And they would shut up right before they got to the road and veer around you. And when you heard them again, they'd be across the road back on it.
Yep.
And even now, thinking about it, man, dogs is really, really, really smart.
They are.
I think it's how you handle them and mess with them. I'm real big on messing with my puppies. I've actually got what I've done is I got me a zip line, buried me 2 4x4 posts in the ground, and I've run a zip line down it. And I like chaining my dogs out to feed puppies. I put them on that zip line, get them chain broke first, put them on that zip line, and I put a little weed eater cord around their collar, just start toning them that way, and pulling them to me. And man, most of the time it don't take 10, 15 minutes before they really they kind of catch on pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, but back to the deer dogs. I'm gonna ask you this before we kind of close. While I'm gonna do this thing, I won't ask probably everybody the same question, and this is a very rabbit hole question. In your definition, what is a real hound?
You go first. You go. My opinion, as far as a real hound, like you said, everybody has got different goals. Everybody's got, some people, their definition of a real hound is just speed, something that's going to get them a turkey. But me and what we do hunting on the outside, you can have a fast dog all you want to, but if you can't get something to get in the woods and get your game up, he ain't going to do you a bit of good. And so I love having a dog that you can see a track in the road, need be, you can put him on it. Something that'll just beat the bushes, a good cold nose, not too cold, but something with a good cold nose that'll get in there and trade you a piece of game up and get it jumped. But also something that can hold the front and have the authority. We got a lot of dogs. And we've got some that really can go and beat the bushes, and we rely on to jump our deer. And then we've got some that it's not really so much on the jumping, but once he's up, they can really run him and keep him going. But as far as it's hard, you said it earlier, it's hard to find that dog that knows how to trail it, that knows how to jump it, that's fast, that handles well. And a lot of times, you got to have one that does jumping. You've got to have some that does you rely on to keep it going for you, some that you rely on to get up and get the front. And so, it's very rare that you get that all around this true hound. But this, my definition is something a dog that can get in the woods by himself, produce his game if need be, but also know how to get an air in the front of a pack and run it with authority.
I believe that's something a lot of people look for. They and I think if you did find one like that, it'd be so ugly, it'd be hard to look at.
Yep. And I can probably, we've went through hundreds of dogs. I mean, in my lifetime, I probably thousands. I know it's thousands. And just dogs that we've bred, and bought, and sold, and all. And like you said, out of all the dogs, there's a lot of dogs. People say, "Hey, we got a dog from here." I can't even remember what it was. It's been so long since we got through so many. But there is some dogs, and I could probably count them on both of my hands. Over the 28 years of in my life and me growing up, knowing I can count on both of my hands out of thousands of dogs we've had that we've had dogs that I could say could do that could take it from the road, that could run it with authority, that had a good mouth, and that you could you can rely on to be in the front of the pack when they get in the road. It's all around a nice dog. And, I mean, you speaking statistically, I mean, probably 10 or less hounds out of 1,000, or probably 1,000 or more in my lifetime that we've had, and so they're hard to come by. But when you get them, it's them hounds that you'll never forget. You'll have a picture on your wall of them, or whatever. That you'll cherish them for a lifetime.
They are definitely hard to come by. They and in a realistic world, me and Daddy argue about it all the time. It does take a pack of dogs, to make one. It takes, in my opinion, it takes 3 dogs to make one really good one. And I know everybody's standards are a little different, but it is truly hard to find a dog that is smart enough to trail game and got a good enough nose to do it. And when we talk about trailing game, I'm not saying 20 or 30 minutes old. I'm sure a lot of older folks hunted a lot different than what we do now, but and there still is a lot of dogs out there that can take a track 10, 12 hours old and jump him just as good. As dogs we got today that ram through the woods and just scare up deer. Because, I mean, I don't know how y'all are, but we got a ton of freaking deer. I mean, you really don't even need a trail dog no more. I mean, we kind of, or Daddy keeps one around. It's just, he enjoys listening to a dog trail. But it is really, really, really hard to find a dog that's got enough sense to work a track that can jump him and then turn around and get up there and run him in his rump. I've only ever seen one that could do it, and it was probably a fluke the day that he did it too. But man,
and I'll say this, not to cut you off, but it's got a lot to do with where you hunt at. When you're training a dog, if you got somewhere a deer behind every tree, and I've hunted in places and they're fun to hunt, but you train your dog and you turn him loose to just run through the woods until he can find something, and he knows he ain't got to run far, and a piece of game is going to jump up in front of him and he'll run it. There's places like that, and I've been to them, and hey, that's fun. But as far as making a dog, you get somewhere that ain't got quite as many deer, kind of like the green swamp. That's where we hunt at now. There's parts of the green swamp that's got more deer than others. But overall, there's no fields down there. There's no farmland. It's just pine trees and dishes. And, a dog's really in the thick woods. And so a dog's got to get there. Who's got to work. And they eat a deer behind every bush. And my opinion, sometimes that's a little bit tougher hunting. But in my opinion, it makes a lot of money off your dog because he's got to learn to put his head down and look for a piece of game versus one being behind every tree.
Absolutely. Like I said, they really hard to come by, but I think from a lot of people's point of view, with the pack of dogs thing, a lot of times you find these big, powerful, fast dogs that ain't quite got enough mouth to pull up the ones in the back, and then you got some in the back that sounds like train horns and won't shut up and get up. But man, it's hard to find a pack of dogs that work together and understand each other, and every one of them's got a different role to play. I don't know that really there is a perfect dog. If there is, I ain't never really seen one, but yeah, if I got one, I'd probably quit trying. It probably wouldn't be as fun no more.
Yeah.
So, but no, that was good. I'm glad you got to come on. Once again, that's Hunter Nance and Craig Nance. If y'all ain't had an opportunity to hear him preach, Hunter, how can is there any way they can maybe watch some of what you preached on? Is it on Facebook or YouTube or?
You can follow me on Facebook. I share a lot of it, but I just recently started pastoring a church on February 8th. Was my official start date as pastoring, and so
Really?
I'm still by vacation working a full-time job and pastoring. But you can follow us at Butters Baptist Church, and that's there in Bladenboro, North Carolina, on Facebook, and watch the sermons every Sunday. And then a lot of times I've got several meetings coming up as far as revivals and things like that. So anytime that I ever preach anywhere that's live streamed, I always share it on my Facebook page. So, and my wife, she makes a lot of clips too and posts it on her TikTok. And so you can find me on TikTok or my wife, Atlanta Nance. But mainly Facebook would be the best way to hear the sermons and things like follow me on Facebook and you'll be able to find everything you want to see as far as looking up sermons.
Well, I hope if there is some of them out there that don't get to see you in person, I really hope that it works out where you and Craig can come help judge in December at the 3-day. But what I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna try to get a couple guys together each day to maybe speak for a couple minutes. I mean, I'd be blessed to listen to you and have you talk a little bit at the hunt. I don't really know how we're gonna do it or when we're gonna do it or but I tell you, if he's really really good, he gets really fired up. And he does every yearling too. So no matter what he says, I've seen that firsthand. So no, but yeah, that's a fact, man. It's hard, and that's another thing. I grew up in church my whole life, and recently up until a year ago is when I really changed, and uh, it's hard to think about when I was in hell. I sat in a church pew every Sunday, and I was going to hell. And it ain't nobody's fault but my own. But there's been several Sundays that I was dozed off or nodding my head, and I will say that it is a lot more enjoyable or easier to listen to a guy that's got passion about the Lord. And I think you do a really really good job with that. So.
Well, thank you, bro. And I'll share this just to share a little nugget of the gospel, I guess you could say, for anybody listening. Especially in the hound dog world, if you go to a hunt, you listen to people drinking and doing things like that, and it looks fun. And the Bible says there's pleasure in sin for a season. And so I've been there. You share a little bit. You've probably been there, and that stuff looks enjoyable. But that stuff will not sustain you. Won't carry you out. It will not last forever. There's going to come a day if you keep right on thinking and trying to enjoy the sin, enjoying the thing that you know is wrong. Eventually, that season is going to run out. And then you're going to be wishing you had another chance, and it this will be too late. And so I've been there. I've been where I thought I was having the time of my life, living it up. Being honest with you, and Daddy probably don't even know all this, but there's been times that I've left places and shouldn't have never made it home. Never was just trying to fit in with the crowd. Thought I was having a good time, but I promise you, the best life that you can ever live is living a life with Jesus. It may look weird, it may look abnormal, but that's what the devil wants you to think. But I can promise you, if you never get to a place that you'll lay down the things that you're doing and really experience true joy and true happiness and true love and let Jesus come into your heart, you'll never want to go back out in the world again. It's something that you'll never forget. It's a moment of your life when you truly get saved that you'll never forget. I can tell you what I had on, where I was at. The preacher that prayed with me, what he had on. So how you remember all that? It's always a moment that was the greatest moment of my life. It changed my life forever, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. What living for the Lord and preaching and stuff, it's cut my hunting back tremendously. Oh, don't get me wrong, I miss it. I miss the only thing having on my mind was work and hunt. Didn't have to worry about anything else. Yes, that was fun at times where I could hunt 3 or 4 days a week. But anytime I took the ocean, load up dogs and go run, and for living for the Lord and pastoring and all that stuff, took a lot of that time. But I will say, man, there ain't nothing like living for the win. Ain't nothing like living for Jesus. Ain't nothing like, as far as me, being able to stand and preach the gospel. And I hope the Lord allow me to do it for many years until He comes back, until He calls me home.
All right, guys, another quick break real quick. The Hounds Podcast is proud to partner again with Low 10 Outfitters. If your kennel is looking for new apparel to rock to the next field trial, look no further than Low 10 Outfitters. They offer shirts, hats, hoodies, coats, and other accessories with custom logos for your kennel or your hound on it to go with it. With top quality merchandise and long-lasting quality, you can't go wrong with Low 10 Outfitters. And very soon, actually right now, we are offering Hounds Podcast apparel on their website at low10outfitters.com. So please go by and check it out. There's a whole section in there under in one of the tabs as for the Hounds Podcast. Get shirts, hats. We're talking about maybe adding some other stuff, but need to see if we can get some movement on the shirts and hats to start. But also, if you're looking for trophies for your next field trial, be sure to check Low 10 Outfitters out as well. So these guys have been great to deal with. Mr. Gonzalez and them, they do a great job, fast turnaround, top quality equipment, and you just can't ask for better, guys. I want to thank them again for coming on board with the Hounds Podcast, and I won't hold you all up anymore again. Let's get y'all back to your episode, guys.
Well, I tell you, we was running out a little bit of time, but I ain't gonna cut it off because I think we're kind of getting in a good place here. I'm the same way, and for the people listening, I am by far nowhere near perfect. I fail every single day. I think the only difference now, really, when I can tell that I'm in a good place and when I'm not, is when it hurts me to fail. There for a long time I was real numb. Numb to what I was doing wrong. I knew better. I knew I shouldn't have been doing the things that I was doing, but I just kind of pushed that feeling down in my gut, and I just got numb to it, and it got to the point where when I first started out, it'd be every time I'd done something, it just didn't sit right with me. It was fun for the moment. As soon as it got over with, I would just be disgusted. As time went on, it would be maybe once a week, and then it turned into once a month, and then it turned into once a year. I felt bad, and I kind of I fell into the trap of the world, man, and it's really easy to do. I mean, it's the devil's really smart. He don't want you having to change your life if you ain't got to. He wants you to kind of get distracted by hunting. And that was one thing that was really hard on me. I love hunting more than I love to breathe. And I had to come to terms where it had to come second.
That's right.
And that's kind of that was really a lot of it. That was my addiction. I didn't grow up really partying and drinking a whole lot, but there was every chance I could get to go hunting. We went hunting. From anything to coon dogs to deer dogs to whatever it was. Me and Daddy was hunting. And I let that kind of lead my life, and I went off to school and I couldn't hunt no more, and I tried to replace it with other things, and I will say that the hunting kept me out of a lot of worldly trouble, but I ain't gonna say that it kept me out of hell, because it didn't. It didn't at all, but it did keep me. It kept me out of jail. It did keep me out of hell. And then a year ago, I had heard the gospel thousands of times. But it hit me different. A guy explained the gospel to me in a different version, and I really understood why he had to die on the cross. I really understand why he went through what he went through, and it was because of me.
Right.
Everything that I did wrong and the rest of the world did wrong, he had to endure what he endured on the cross for us. And once I really, really understood what he went through and why he did, man, it was I don't know if it was the Lord just pulling on me, or the way He was telling it, or what it was. Man, I can tell you where I was standing at. Same way I can tell you what I was wearing. Uh, and it was definitely life changing to me. I turned my life completely around. I still went right back to doing what I was doing the next day, but I felt bad about it. For the first time in a long time, it hit me. This ain't right. And it kind of, as time went on, more and more and more. Uh, I think this is a kind of a lot of misunderstanding for people. They think that they got to get right to go to church. And I don't know how you are, but that really wouldn't. I don't think that's right. I think you go to church to get right. I don't think you get right before you go to church. I guess what I'm kind of trying to get at is don't if you smoke pot, if you do drugs, if you drink, it don't matter what you do. You give your life to the Lord, and the rest of it will play itself out. If He's touched your heart, and if He's pulling on you, I ain't saying that you ain't got to change, but you will change, and it's because you'll want to change. So, and like I said, for a lot of people listening, I'm not perfect. I fail every single day, at some kind of way, whether it's big or small. And I guess that's kind of what we're trying to do, with the podcast is I'm trying to show people that, we everyday people, we are sinners just like the rest of the world. We're not perfect. We need a Savior. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding of us, and I try to portray myself in a manner everywhere I go. Somebody looks at me and says, I want what he's got. I want what the Lord has put in him. And it's not always easy to do. I get angry. I get mad. Sometimes I cuss. I mean, so it is hard to live right all the time, and we ain't never gonna do it. But for the people listening, don't just put us in a box saying, I thought he was different. He was a Christian. Well, we supposed to be, but it don't always play out that way. It's a lot harder said than done. And so that's kind of what we're doing with the podcast. Is I want people to kind of hear the gospel. Maybe if it's to plant a seed, or maybe it's to get saved and baptized, whatever it may be. I just everyday people to hear it from an everyday person. I'm not a preacher. I can't talk too well. I can't spell. I'm just barefooted and in a cut off shirt and poor. So, I just, for everybody listening, I hope you kind of understand that. Don't hold me to a higher degree by no means, because I'm a failure, in need for a Savior.
I know we got to come to a close. I know we're running out of time, but I will say, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, a lot of people feel like they got to be perfect to come to church, but you don't go to a hospital looking for healthy people. You go to a hospital. I was in one today. Everywhere you look, there's somebody sick, and that's just like the church too. I mean, the Bible says there's none righteous, no, not one, that we all fall short of the glory of God every single day. And so, don't never get to the place you feel like you got to be perfect and live a perfect life to please God, because that's just not, it's never going to happen. You're never going to be perfect. And I don't believe that we can live a sinless life, a life of no sin. We should strive as Christians to live a sinless life, sin less today than we did yesterday. And once tomorrow gets here, wake up in the morning and I ask myself, well, where did I fall short at yesterday? Where can I work at or improve in this area at today to try and be a better Christian? And that's what, that should be our goal. And the Bible also says when you're truly saved, that old things have passed away and all things become new. And like you said, you went right back to doing the things that you were doing, but it convicted you. And so what was God doing? He was trying to change you into that new person that you are and showing you, hey, you're not who you used to be. And now here I am. I'm changing you. And it may not happen overnight, but if you continue walking with God and giving your life to God and seeking God, it takes time. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it takes years, but God will get you to where He wants you to be. And I believe a lot of people in the world, especially in the hound dog world, they got the good old boy and good old girl syndrome. And I'm not passing judgment on nobody, but there's a lot of good old boys that you meet that'll give you the shirt off their back. I mean, just great people, and some people base that, well, I'm a good person and I give the benefits and I give the causes. Some may even go to church and pay their tithes, but being that good old boy ain't going to save you. That ain't what's going to get you into heaven. You've got to be born again. You've got to be Jesus has got to live on the inside of your heart. The blood's got to be applied to your life, and that's all that's going to matter. At the end of the day, it ain't going to be the pack of dogs that you got, or how many turkeys that you got, or how many champions that you made, or how nice a truck, or how much big of a dog box you got, or where you hunt at, or how nice your foxing is. All that ain't going to matter. Only thing that's going to matter is have you been born again when you stand before God. God ain't gonna look at all that other stuff. All those things are great, and I encourage anybody to enjoy them. I mean, enjoy it while we can, because it may not always be here, and I hope it is. But the biggest thing that you'll ever do in life is asking Jesus Christ to save you and change your life. Stand before God, being able to hear, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." That's my mission in life, is to hear those words and know that I've done what He's called me to do.
Well, I agree. We do got to close here soon, but it's hard to cut off because I kind of want. I'll piggyback one more time and I'll be done. But you said the good old boy syndrome, and that was me. I felt like I was raised to be a good person. I said yes, ma'am. I said yes, sir. I opened the door for women. My mom and daddy raised me to be a good person. But one thing that convicted me when I first, started following Christ is it ain't what you do or how you do it that's going to get you into heaven. It don't matter about your bad works, and it sure don't matter about your good works, because there's nothing, you can't donate enough money to the children's hospital, or you can't buy a homeless person's food, or whatever it may be. Your good works about as equal as your bad works. We are not deserving of eternal life with Jesus by no means. The only way we get there is through grace.
Right.
So, if you are in that stage of life where maybe you think that I'm not good enough, well, brother, I hate to tell you ain't. Neither am I. Neither's Hunter or Craig or nobody else.
That's right.
They ain't nobody good enough. The only way we get there is through grace. So that was my little bit of piggybacking.
Saved by grace through faith is what the Bible says.
Absolutely. Well, man, I hate to cut it off, but we getting here on the hour, and hopefully we kind of finish this conversation a little later, or at another time. I hope people hear your name and get to hear what you're about. So
thank you, brother. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
All right, guys, like they said, we're going to wrap it up right here. I hope y'all enjoyed our first installment of the the Houndsmen For Christ, presented by the Hounds Podcast. Again, I think they did a great job. I hope y'all thoroughly enjoyed it. Let us know what we can do to improve. If it's a sound thing, if something's off a little bit, please let us know. Always down for some good feedback, and like I said at the beginning of the episode, hey, bear with us. We got some learning curves we got to do on working together and making all this stuff work. So, again, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all have a good week, and we will catch y'all on the next episode. And like always, guys, happy hunting.